Karam Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Earlier, I had mentioned that the first mantra, second mantra, and third mantra, these three mantras address to three types of seekers or persons. First mantra is addressed to one who is ready for the knowledge, who has done some Shravana, Manana, etc. Second mantra is addressed to the person who is not ready for the knowledge. And the third mantra is addressed to that person who is ready for neither of them, who goes or who lives by his or fancies, who doesn't follow the boundaries of dharma, who doesn't adhere to injunctions of the Vedas. These three persons are addressed here. But primarily, that person was censured that this person will andantamah pravishanti. He will go to the darker sides, means those lokas where buddhi will not work. Primarily, Shruti addresses two types of persons, two types of seekers. One whose mind is riddled with desires, full of desires. The one who wants to achieve something, one who wants to become something. He or she wants to become somebody. Life is always of becoming, human life. And therefore wants to do something. They are called karma adhikaris. Means they deserve to perform karmas. They deserve to commit to karmas. Why? They are not ready for knowledge. And when I say one whose mind is full of desires or wants to become something, has so many fancies, he is ready for karma. Otherwise also that fellow will do some karma. Those actions. Which actions? Which will bring him the desired result, that person will pursue without anybody's telling also. But then Shastra addresses some certain types of karmas to that person. Shastra accepts the person wanting to become, wanting to achieve, wanting to enjoy, wanting to have, or wanting to get rid of it, whatever. they address certain karmas, and it also addresses, Shastra gives certain attitudes. Primarily, it gives karmas, actions. What we can call it as do's and don'ts. In Sanskrit, it is called vidhi and nisheda. These things you can do, this you shouldn't do. Not only injunctions, it tells the person how one should do those karmas. Okay? You may want to achieve some money. Okay, achieve this way. Why it is given? Because as I said, that person is not ready for the knowledge. What is the readiness or the preparedness for the knowledge? In the Shastric, or what is the readiness for moksha purushartha? The Shastric words are antahkarana shuddhi and antahkarana aikagram. Mind should be relatively pure and mind should be relatively focused. And you can say, add to that, one should have relative subtlety, all that is required. For what? For the person to commit to knowledge. Why? That mind can be free from desires, extrovertedness. And when it can be free only when there is some self-satisfaction. Mind has some self-contentment, self-ease. The mind that enjoys its own company. Mind that enjoys solitude. That mind which enjoys solitude is relatively free from desires, pressure of desires. That is called as vairagya. And when there is inner leisure, some inner freedom, what we have seen earlier, that is vairagya, is called objectivity. That person would be fairly objective in his or her evaluation of the world, evaluation of the situation, evaluation of possessions, evaluations of relations, in all aspects of the life. That person will be objective. When this vairagya or this objectivity grows, then after certain time, the desire for moksha arises in the mind. In some cases, and more so modern times, when our culture has alienated from our traditional lifestyle and the values, so there will be desire to do something other than what I am doing. As we can say, there would be paperback desire to do something. Just want to know, just want to see what it is. And that person will pursue. In the course of time, if he or she has some punya, they may come across the right teacher, and that moksha ichha, desire for moksha, gets converted into jignasa, desire to know. At least some acceptance or clarity that moksha is nothing but knowledge. To gain freedom, I have to gain knowledge. And then that person approaches the teacher, does Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana, and that's all he or she wants to do. Becomes totally disinterested in any other pursuit, and that person gives up all other involvement, his or her involvement, and takes to lifestyle of sannyasa. That is called karma sannyasa. Means a lifestyle committed to pursuit of knowledge at the exclusion of all kinds of activities and involvement. A sannyasi who takes to these clothes is the one who declares and commits that my primary goal or my primary commitment is knowledge, and I live life style committed to knowledge only, and to gain knowledge, whatever ancillary karmas I have to do, minimum guru seva or some yogasana to keep the body fit, or some ashram seva, whatever. That's all I do. Mind becomes free from any desires, relatively. Or this is called freedom from extrovertedness. And that sannyasa is called vividisha sannyasa. Understand, there are two types of sannyasa. Vividisha, veditum ichchaya kruta sannyasa. Sannyasa taken having a desire for knowledge. That sannyasa is a lifestyle. Okay? All four ashramas, brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa, all four ashramas, nothing but lifestyle. Sannyasa lifestyle means exclusion of everything else, and I commit myself completely to the, or primarily to the pursuit of knowledge. And to gain knowledge, what all I have to do, I do it. That all, even learning, satellite learning, learning grammar, learning chanting, learning puja, etc., whatever it is, I just do it. I learn it. But then focus is to gain knowledge, to gain moksha. Some discovery, you can say vicarious discovery. Some understanding has been there that the happiness that I have been seeking is myself. That is my swarupa. And since it is my swarupa, I need to know it. Ananda is not something to be gained, but it is something to be discovered. First is not something to be gained. That gives dispassion towards the pursuit, external pursuits, worldly pursuits. And that dispassion is born out of some discrimination. The viveka, the person has analyzed from his or her own experience. Analysis takes place about one's own pursuit. And to do analysis about our own pursuit, you require a lot of space here. You require a space to look at myself objectively. Mind is so packed that there is no space to re-look, rethink, or if I use a modern jargon, restructure my value. There is no mind. The person no space to restructure himself or herself. What is that packed mind? Ragas and dveshas, insistencies, our own values, our own ideals, our own attitudes. This is how it should be. And that be so sometimes strong that we want to impose that on others, especially near and dear ones. They should be doing this way only. You didn't help me. That fellow may not believe in that. But you should have helped me if you love me. This is what I like. Don't you see that? You are not sensitive towards my likes and dislikes. Insistence. We have no space. When there is inner space, you can relook at your own life. There is inner leisure. Hey, what is ultimate? That space comes by objectivity. But before objectivity, there is a space. And more up to the extent you become objective, to the extent that inner space, inner leisure expands. Hey, what I have been doing so far? What I have been pursuing so far? So far I have been pursuing for worldly pleasures. So far I have been pursuing the world outside, twofold pursuits. I must have this. I should have high-end car, Lexus. I should have high-end Audi, whatever you have. I should have iPhone 11. I should have iMac. As the college going son said, Daddy, I must have iMac. Okay. The teenage one was in the final year of the school. I must have iPhone. And she said, I should have iPad. And the guest came, all of them said, I have iMac, I have iPhone, I have iPad. And this fellow says, I have paid for all that. I have iPad. I paid all the three of them. These all things, possession, insistence about possessions, values. I should have this much size house, 2-bedroom house, 3-bedroom house, house with front courtyard, back courtyard, this furniture, that furniture, etc. It goes on. This is possessions. Another thing is, I must do this. I must not do this. A typical Indian housewife, I must keep the house clean and tidy. She can't stand a dirt or something disorganized and commits herself to doing the thing. Have to maintain, like people I have seen. I must maintain my car like this. It should be shining like a star. The dust I cannot tolerate, etc., etc. બધું સીધું થઈ જાય. છોકરા થાય ને પછી ખબર પડે અમેરિકામાં. When they have children, then that car maintenance goes away. Because when you go out with the children, then there is a baby seats and all snacks and this and that and dirt and then it is that luxury that you have a person to clean the car is not available in US. Then out of helplessness, person gives up the value. My car should be spick and span, no more. But particularly after the second child, it is gone. And mom's car, so many things are lying inside. It is like a second garage for them. She comes home with the shopping and her objective is to pick up the children and push them to home. And so many things, one shoe is forgotten and dress is forgotten, toy is forgotten, all things. Values. What is the analysis? Person comes to see that, oh, what is it that I want? Is it the car I want for the sake of car or for something else? I want a big house. Is it for the sake of the house or for something else? I want some money. Is it for the sake of money or for something else? And discovers, I want to be happy. That's the bottom line. What all I want and what all I don't want is nothing, is only with one objective, to be happy. And often I have found, by the time I get that, I have lost the kick to achieve that. Or if I achieved, had a kick, I wanted badly and had it. Within very short time, I have it, That's all the attitude. Oh, you meet a person and he says, within a couple of years, I want to have Mercedes, E-class Mercedes. I want to buy or some new battery operated car what is that, California car, that Elon Musk car, that I want this. And you meet him after 4 or 5 years and then 2 years and then by the time he has one, oh, you have this car? I have for last 3 years. I have. That kick is gone. Mind has new desire. Mind looks for happiness somewhere else. Or I wanted it, but it did not come to my expectation. I didn't get the color that I wanted. I didn't get the seat covers of the same color that I asked for. So many things, And even if I get exactly what I want, that satisfaction of having doesn't last long. This is analysis. With all pursuits, all achievements, I achieved quite a few things, but I could not achieve what I ultimately wanted to achieve. That is, to see myself as a happy person. I couldn't find that happy I. I couldn't find that satisfied I. I couldn't find that content I. I couldn't find that self-acceptable I. That gives dispassion. And further analysis here, if you analyze further, actually it is not the object that I want. Ishavasya, what we call it, the desired object, desired person, desired situation, desired relation, nothing. Place, time, etc., nothing. I think there is happiness. Others may not. Like I like ice cream and I think that will make me so happy. I got ice cream. And there are some people who don't like ice cream and makes it unhappy. Classic example is smokers. You should see the person while smoking, you with eyes and then throwing the smoke up, and then you may feel as though he or she is absorbed in Brahmananda. ब्रह्मानंद में है. But then you as an individual who is not smoking, by even slightest smell of it, it pinches you, pains you. Object doesn't make happy. If there is happiness in the object per se, like there is sweetness in sugar, whosoever eats sugar should find it sweet and will find it sweet. But similarly, if it is the nature of an object that it contains happiness, all should get happiness, which doesn't happen. Often it happens otherwise. Listen this carefully. It is not the object or a person or a situation you want. It is the freedom from that want that you want. I want to get rid of my desire of that object. The desire for something is like a bug. It will not let me rest content with myself. And if that desire is not resolved, my dissatisfaction, discontentment continues. I got it, but then there is a South Indian, but I got it. We went for a restaurant for dinner, and how was it? It was good. We ate it. But then, what? He was not happy. Why? Oh, it was too crowded because of Sunday. We went to the beach. I had a really nice weather, etc. But it's okay. Why it's okay? It was too crowded and noisy. Unfortunately, while we were pitched in, our people around us were with children and they were making all kinds of noise. I just wanted peace, external quiet environment, and I couldn't. I didn't get as per my expectations. I didn't get as per my wish. So the joy or happiness comes not exactly from object, but that freedom from desire of a given object leads to happiness. Whatever amount of it is leftover desire, there is less happiness. That want, that I want this, that want should completely be resolved. And when it is completely resolved, then only there is some happiness. Otherwise not. There is still discontentment continue. What happens when the want is resolved? Your mind is quiet. You are relaxed. And in that quiet mind, Atma, that is happiness, manifests. That's how the thing is. Whenever your mind is quiet, you are happy. The agitations of the mind are primarily caused by my wants, my desires. And they are also caused by my values, my attitudes, my goals. I must have this, then only I am somebody. I must do this, I must not do this. I must have this way, I must not have this way. This is how you should treat me, this is how you shouldn't treat me. All kinds of things. Must, ought to be, etc. Those values. That kind of desire I'm talking. I'm not saying desire per se. Desires that are loaded with insistences. Desire that are heavy because of my strong values and strong likes and dislikes. Such kind of desires, such kind of attitudes When satisfied, mind becomes free from it, and then you feel happy. As I said, quiet mind, relatively or momentarily. When a desire is satisfied, mind becomes quiet momentarily. You can see in children, 3 to 5 year babies want something. Mom, I want chocolate. Mom, I want Bonvita in the milk. And for whatever reason, she refuses to give. That I want, and child does all tantrums. All things, becomes picky, shouts, cries. Then finally she gives in. She only says this, okay, I'm giving you in 10 minutes. I'll give you this chocolate in 10 minutes. Let me finish this cooking. Sure? Yes. Suddenly quiet. Understand? Mind is quiet and baby is happy. Those 10 minutes are quite long for the baby, unfortunately. And moment she gives the thing, a cup of glass or a chocolate, how happy and relaxed the baby is. Though baby has not eaten the chocolate, has not undergone the experience of it. But the fact that mind is relieved from that want, baby is happy. So ultimately, what all we want is freedom from our want. We want freedom from the want. That is quiet mind. People try to achieve by force. Don't expect. There are slogans, And that if you expect, then you become unhappy. Therefore they say, Swamiji, I have decided not to expect. That doesn't work. Because you didn't decide to expect. It just happened. If it was born out of decision, you can give it up out of decision, not otherwise. They say, disappointments come to those who try to keep appointments with future. Disappointment comes to those who tries to keep appointment with possessions. All this. Therefore, people go for meditation. They think mind is quiet and I'll become happy. પેલા ગુસ્સા થઈ ગયા મારી મારીને મુસલમાન બનાવ્યો. It doesn't happen. Quietude is momentary. And a new meditation they start, Sakshi Bhava. And they ask you to do Bhava for 6 hours, 8 hours. Sit and do. There is a back pain, be Sakshi. There is a thought, be Sakshi. Or decide 4 hours, no phone call, no talking, nothing. Sakshi Bhava, Sakshi Bhava. Mind is so tired. And they give then they couple this with naturopathy. Naturopathy means what? Honey and lemon. Fellow eats double size pizza with cheese every day. And they give them honey. So out of hunger and weakness, he gives up desires. And that fellow thinks mind is quiet and happy. Meditation brought happiness. When the mind becomes quiet, the happiness that is you manifests. It is like a cloudy day. Sun is already there. But sun was covered by the cloud. A whiff or a wind took away the cloud and the sun manifested. People think the wind brought the sun. No. Desired object gave me happiness. No. When the desired object is achieved, the wanting mind, the disturbed mind, the agitated mind becomes quiet. And the self manifests. That is your nature. The self is Ananda. That is me, but has been taken to be Dukhi, and Ananda comes too from the Vishayas. That is how the thinking comes. And that's how people pursue the worldly objects. Ultimately, the first step, though ultimately I am seeking happiness, but we are seeking a quiet mind. A mind which is content, relatively quiet, peaceful. That peace or contentment or quietude is lost when it is riddled with desires. Like the pressure cooker, the pressure builds up here and then the whistle blows. Psst. Pressure builds up what? I should buy these. I should buy these. And then this conviction, I am going to buy this. That is a whistle. And fellow goes to shop, Macy or Walmart to buy that. That whistle has blown now. The cooker free from pressure. I want that mind. That's what we pursue all the time. Now, happiness being my nature. So, to discover that is me, I need to have relatively quiet mind. These are the words which are often used: extrovertedness and introvertedness. In Hindi they say bahirmukh or antarmukh. The seeker should be sadhak ka antarmukh hona chahiye. Seeker should be introverted, introvert person. Not understanding the Shastra. A non-thinking people keep blabbering this. Don't involve in worldly objects and pursuit. Don't do anything. Just sit quiet and be meditative. That is introvertedness. Speak less. Speak with a tone. Don't talk. That is not introverted. I have inner leisure. That is introvertedness. Mind that is relatively free from desires and wants and pressure to achieve, pressure to become, pressure to do. That is introverted. Then only there is leisure. To achieve this mind, Shastra gives karma. Okay? As per Veda, there is a Vakya. Bhagavan says in Gita also, Lokesmin dvividha nishtha pura prokta mayanaga Gnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoga. Twofold committed lifestyle. While introducing this section, I said two types of adhikaris. One who is committed to pursuit of karma, another one who is committed to pursuit of moksha. To convert this commitment from karma to moksha, to help the person to discover that I need to be, what is this? I want this. There is a lifestyle given in the Shastra called as Gnana Nishtha, Karma Nishtha. Or that Gnana Nishtha, we call it as a Vividisha Sannyasi. And this fellow can be called as Karma Yogi. Okay? Karma Yogi means one who is committed to lifestyle of commitment to karmas, backed by certain attitudes that will be discovered later. What karmas? Committed to shastric injunctions. We call it duty. Do's. I have to do this. I will do this. Commitment to kartavya karma. Faraja nishtha, that person. Means my commitment is primarily to duty. And then my desires, then my fancies, then my wants. And that too, in fulfilling my wants, after fulfilling my duties, in fulfilling my fancies, after committing what is to be done. That's the first thing. In pursuing those desires, I adhere to the boundaries given by Shastra. Shastra Maryada is followed. Shastra Maryada Sadhanani. I follow those means to achieve which are accepted by Shastra, which is permitted by Shastra. Shastra Drashtya Karoti. Keeping in mind what scriptures approve, the means and the end, both. In other words, pursuing legitimate end with legitimate means. Okay? Pursuing legitimate end with legitimate means. That is called karmanishtaha vyakti. The person committed to karma wants to do. And when he or she commits this way, slowly mind becomes free and discovers attitude of surrendering to Ishvara, and mind becomes pure. And he or she becomes relatively free from pressure to do, pressure to achieve, pressure to have, etc. So the karma becomes a means for gaining freedom from karma. Understand? When you adhere to Shastra, when you commit to Shastric lifestyle, the advantage is what? The advantage is you become free from the holds of karma. Relatively, mind becomes free. Relatively, mind becomes content. Relatively, mind becomes introvert. And that is the purpose of karma. The purpose of Shastric injunctions, do this and don't do that, is not for going to heaven. They say, if you do this and if you don't do this, then you will go to heaven. It is not for tourism promotion, as Swamiji would say. It is not for going to heaven. It is to gain a mind which is lot of space, which helps me to gain absolute freedom from karma. When you adhere to Shastra, both in terms of do's and for your fancies, because I pursue the goals only when, I mean those only which are permitted by Shastras, and the means also according to Shastra. Sadhya Shuddhi, Sadhana Shuddhi. Or Sadhya and Sadhanas are within the Maryada of Shastra. And with the attitude of Ishwararpanam, then you become relatively free from fancies. The duties in the beginning are performed out of commitment. I have to do this. I must do this. Duties. Not your own likes and dislikes I am talking. I must have this clothes or I must have this car or phone, that's a separate thing. But duties. There is a commitment. There is a pressure that I have to do. And there is a pain also. I keep doing my duty and nobody recognizes, etc., etc. But in course of time, it's not come out of commitment, but it's out of love to do this. You can't but do that. Like Satyam Vada. I must speak truth. That's out of commitment. You start with. But in course of time, like Gandhiji, he started speaking truth after seeing the drama and listening the story of Harishchandra. I must speak truth. Harishchandra did. It became an inspirational role model. That's fine. But later on, I enjoy speaking truth. And further later on, I cannot but speak truth. I cannot but do my duty first and then my fancies. That is a sign of Antahkarana Shuddhi. That's a parameter for introvert. And that is the purpose of Vedic injunctions, Shastric injunctions. Not to take you to heaven and hell. If you do this, you will go to heaven. And if you don't do this, you will go to hell. And the fellow thinks, I already am in hell after marriage, more so. Why should I do that? Let me enjoy whatever I can enjoy here. We'll see when the hell if I go there. Otherwise I don't care. That's the thing. Our Vedic injunctions are for gaining a mind. You can say inner freedom, relative freedom. That mind which is relatively free is capable of absolute freedom. That is myself. To gain that knowledge, to own up that knowledge, require a mind which is, that is called Vairagya, relatively free mind. Understand? Virakta means freedom. Vairagya means no attachment. That's not, these are all jumbo bumbo words. Vairagya means inner freedom. That's how Shastra gives a lifestyle, Varnashram. If you're Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, you have to do that. If you're married, you have to do this. Unmarried, you have to do that. You not to do this. You have to do this way only, etc., etc. Injunctions are primarily given to gain inner freedom, relative inner freedom. That person, then there is a Vairagya. And out of Vairagya, there is a moksha. Then there is a search for Guru. And then Shastra Shravanam Manana Nididhyasana. Then he owns up to that person who has a guru and he gets opportunity to study. The first mantra was told, Ishavasyam idam. Discover this fact. Commit to this fact. And to one who is wanting to have something, wanting to achieve something, wanting to become something, to that person karmanishtha. Kurvan neveha karmani jijivishet shatagum samaha. Evam tvai nanyathe na karma lippete nare. I had told that time. Performing actions. You may desire to live 100 years. Performing action means performing, committing to duty. Commitment to kartavya. Commitment to shastric injunctions. Commitment to shastra maryada. And why it is told, some more discussion is there, because the new section to it's relevant or on this issue. And therefore I talk this, and tomorrow I'll conclude and we'll proceed further. This particular discussion I'll conclude. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So we'll have class